Hi, Capricorn. Welcome to your end of January 2017. It's Raina here. Now, before I lay out the cards, I just wanted to tell you that you're having a new moon in your second house of earned income in the sign of Aquarius. So that could be a new income stream. Also, Aquarius is a sign of innovation, okay? You know, inventors and things like that. And so people who are Aquarius, you know, for instance, their sun, they tend to think out of the box. They tend to have a different slant to things and be very, you know, it's a sign of nonconformity. And it's a stark contrast to Capricorn, actually, because it's funny. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. Aquarius is ruled by Saturn and by Uranus. And Uranus is where you get that kind of unpredictability and freedom, loving nature, and also just being totally different than the average person and disliking conformity. So since it's influencing the money that you earn, you may be the type of person that you are so ambitious, and one reason is because you want to earn money so that you can be totally free to live your life. You know, as a cardinal sign, you like to control your universe pretty much, and, you know, really call the shots as much as you can in your life. There's nothing you dislike more than feeling kind of like at somebody else's mercy. And this is true for all of the cardinal signs. But because of what has been going on in the skies since 2008, you may have felt in more recent years that you were at people's mercy and you didn't know what to do about it. Because, you know, these outer planets are affecting you in that way. It doesn't mean, by the way, that life is totally out of your control. It's just that there are times when, in, you know, whatever aspects are affecting you from different houses, that you may be confronted with issues that you try to, you know, exert your will over, and it still doesn't work. And the answer in all of those cases is like the Hangman card in the major arcana. It's just surrender. Certainly not to be, you know, passive or just fatalistic and not think that you have any control over your life, but kind of a nice balance where you can see what you can do and see what you can't. You know, the serenity prayer is a great one to use. You know, God grant me the ability to, you know, it's like do what you can and accept when you can't, you know, change things, and be okay with that. So that being said, and happy birthday to those of you who are born at the time when I'm, well, you're not going to be born when I'm doing this, but I'm recording this on the 14th. So for those of you in the third decan of Capricorn. Wow, this is like, I think out of all the readings I've done so far, this seems the most positive, especially for career matters. But it could be, you know, I guess in either area, career or love. And I mean, just very, very positive cards. Okay. Now, because of the way that I'm doing these, I'm splitting up the month into two parts, okay? So this is the second half of the month, which is only like 2 weeks long. Rather than assume that all of these events are going to happen within a 2-week span, just kind of match it up to what's happening to you right now to see if there are any things that go along with what is currently happening for you, because it will be a continuation of that. And we do have within these cards a lot of minor arcana, so it can be just wonderful events, maybe not life-changing period of time, but it is only a 2-week period of time. I do feel that there's a lot of success and thoughts of career, and the overall theme for this last half of the month is the Star card. And this, I usually think of this card as coming on the heels of a situation that may have been challenging for you and may have caused you to doubt what was happening in your life. And so this would be faith restored and feeling healing coming in over a situation or over your life in general. And, and I guess this could even be related to health. If you were struggling with anything, you may feel like you have kind of gone over a hump and now you're heading towards healing. And maybe before you were worried and you thought that maybe, something was going to be permanently wrong with you. In relationships too, I mean, it could be like having a marriage survive a lot of tests and strains. Or if you got divorced or you left a partner and that was very difficult for you. You may have, weathered the storm with that. In the recent past, we have the 9 of Pentacles. So this does speak to somebody who is financially independent. And that would go along with the theme of somebody who is, let's say you are a woman, as depicted in the card, and you left a marriage and you didn't know if you'd be able to stand on your own 2 feet. Well, this card is like you thriving in that situation and being able to manage it. Also, and especially if you have children and you were worried about them, taking care of them and all that. It can also, with the career situation, it can be, I think that some people are going to be launching something because the 9 of Pentacles is knowing that you are financially secure. And, well, I shouldn't say secure, financially independent. Because the number 9 indicates, being alone or being by yourself. And so combined with the Pentacles, it's talking about financial independence. And for some people who wanted to make a change, they may have felt stymied or they may have been afraid of doing it. And what happened was they really realized that it was good to go for it and to make it happen. And sure enough, what comes in during this time is the Ace of Swords. This is like, a card of success of, and it may have been a trial that you kind of overcame in order to get to this point. And so you should feel very good about yourself because you accomplished something that maybe you didn't know you had it in you. But now, because it's an ace, it's a new beginning. And I did get 2 aces. So this may be definite time for you to launch something. And you're feeling very clear about it. There's not a sense of, will it work or not? In relationships, you may be starting a relationship with somebody who is of the air element, or they are very like a brainiac type of a person. So a Gemini, Libra, Aquarius in their prominent, sun, moon, rising point. That really gives them that personality trait that it's easy to spot. The higher message is the 9 of Wands. So this is a card of having boundaries, protecting yourself. In business, having, if you have to, whatever it is, it may be different things that you're doing, but making sure that you're protected when it comes to any kind of, I was going to say liability issues. But also, if let's say you're doing like a service-oriented business, you have to also be very clear about what you're willing to do and what you're not willing to do with a client, business owner relationship, and not allow people to walk all over you. It's not something that I typically see with Capricorn, but in the exchange of money for services, you may be tempted, especially if you just started something, to kind of be so concerned with getting the money that you don't see when there are bad situations involved. And it's something to really consider if you're doing personal work, because you don't want to get embroiled with people that are eventually going to kind of, complicate your life. In relationships, same thing goes. And seeing those red flags ahead of time is always a good thing. Seeing when people are being too pushy, when they need something too quickly. This means that they're demanding, and this means that they may be very hard to please, and they may end up asking for a refund anyway, and and then you could be out your money and your time. So just take care about that if you're a novice to business, if you're doing something on your own for the first time. Also, if you're in a relationship, that's always a big thing. And it's funny, some people they have very strong boundaries if they have their own business, of what they will and will not tolerate, but then in personal relationships, they just turn into a puddle. Why is that? Well, people have emotional needs, don't they? And sometimes they try to get them met through another person. And, it's human nature. It's not anything to be ashamed about, but it doesn't end well a lot of times, because people are not going to, that's not how life works. Even if you give in to somebody, a lot of times they won't appreciate it. So it's important to be very clear about what you're all about in any facet of your life, without being rude or paranoid. That's always a challenge too, I guess. Just being very, very clear about it. That's what this card is about. It's about clarity. And, the thoughts are totally on point. Speaking of clarity, this is the challenge position, the High Priestess. So this is in the reverse position. This is not listening to your inner voice. And this is not, I would say too, the High Priestess can point to something that has not been revealed. And, that does happen. Things are not revealed all the time. But, when we say not revealed, obviously we're talking about somebody's keeping secrets, they're telling half-truths, like the Moon card in the Tarot. But in the challenge position, you may not be asking the right questions. You may be sticking your head in the sand. Also, you may not be listening to your inner voice, and that is going to create problems for you as well. So it's all wrapped up in there, and it's all important that you see things as they are and act accordingly. That's the best way to go through life. Just see things as they are and not be afraid of what it means. Not be afraid that if you actually know in your heart of hearts that somebody is cheating on you, that you don't have to go into some long drama about how this person is cheating on you. It's like, okay, that's happening. Oh well. And what am I going to do about it? Because when you don't assign blame, or it's not about assigning blame, but when you don't, take other people's actions as somehow reflections on you, that's when you really, I think, are going to do well for yourself. But that's not what happens. When people find out that they've been cheated on, they immediately think there's something wrong with them. And then that goes into a downward spiral. So that's what I'm kind of talking about. And if you have come off of a divorce and you've met somebody new, this is paramount that you do this, because you don't want to repeat patterns. The advice, or what is coming in the near future, is the Six of Wands. I think primarily this is talking about the near future, because this is a card of success. And this is one of the cards I was talking about when I was saying it's so positive. It is a card of like being acknowledged maybe by others for something that you did that was where you had success, and for taking your vow. In personal relationships, I would also say that it is acting as if you are deserving of someone good. So if somebody has come into your life and you think that they're really a good catch. Now, it could be, I mentioned air sign, could be combination air and fire. Maybe because I'm getting fire too. So it could be Leo, Sagittarius, Aries. You may not know their chart, but if they have a combination of being intellectual and also kind of like very extroverted, they may have both of those elements in their personal points. And they can really, people like that can really help you to kind of see the fun side of life. Capricorn oftentimes is very serious. And it's almost like, children. I think of fire signs as grown-up children. Overgrown children, I should say. And I'm a Sagittarius. And just like that sense of spontaneity, just living for today, not thinking about the future, which is the exact opposite of what Capricorn does. Capricorn is always thinking of the future. But sometimes that can get very oppressive, because first of all, you can't plan for the future. The future, you can to a certain extent, but you have to allow for life to happen, you know what I mean? And it does, What was it, John Lennon, who said, life is what happens when you're busy making plans? I love that. It gives me chills when I hear that, because it's so true. But that doesn't mean you just totally are mindless about your future. So just, enjoy this, have enjoyment. Don't worry about, if the relationship's going to work out. Enjoy what you have right now. And appreciate it. If it's a work project that you did well on, and take your moment in the sun, take your bow. Don't minimize it and act. You're a humble sign, but don't negate to pat yourself on the back once in a while. The outcome is the Ace of Pentacles. So this is something, anything that your endeavor is related to. This specifically connects very well to monetary affairs, careers, things like that. Maybe dealings with an earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, but this could be you, This is your, especially for those born in January, this is your solar return. And this is a time for you to really, that you may be feeling like it's your new year. We're past the Mercury retrograde. So even those of you born in December, you may be feeling like, okay, now things are starting to move. Everything, because the Mercury retrograde started when the sun was still in Sagittarius. So many of you had your birthday, or at least half of you had your birthday when it was retrograding. So you may have felt like you were, treading water or something, or things were like very murky, and now things are getting back up to speed. And so that could just be reflecting this and showing this new cycle for you, but also a new beginning in general. See the doorway, a portal for you to step through for success, financial success. Ace of Pentacles can indicate getting a loan, getting a sum of money that seemingly is coming from the clouds, coming from not pennies from heaven, like dollars from heaven. And just really financial abundance, but a firm foundation. It's not flaky. It could be a relationship that is solid, that's in its early stages. So awesome. Good luck to you, Capricorn. And if you'd like a personal reading, please click on the link below. Otherwise, have a great rest of the month. Bye.